LSU handed Lane Kiffin a 7-year, $91 million contract, and they did it for one reason: to make everything you're about to hear happen faster than anyone could ever imagine. But let's start with the wreckage first. Brian Kelly started the season 5-3 and then lost in an ugly way to Texas A&M, got fired the very next day. LSU limped to the finish to a 7-6 record, which in Baton Rouge is a fireable offense and a full reset. Well, enter in the portal king, right? Lane Kiffin goes out and signs the #1 overall transfer portal class in the country. That's 17 4- and 5-star transfers. The next closest in college football had 12. He got the #1 quarterback, the #1 offensive tackle, the #1 edge rusher in the portal. That's not a recruiting class. That's a heist, right? Quarterback Sam Leavitt, who led Arizona State to the Big 12 title 2 years ago, did have a foot injury that kind of wrecked his 2025. He was brought in, and there is a bit of question about his health. That was the big question in the spring. He missed most of the spring rehabbing his foot, but Kiffin says he's cleared, he's back to full strength, and he's put on 11 pounds since he got to Baton Rouge. And if you're worried about the lost spring reps, remember Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr., they got Trinidad Chambliss ready last year for a top 8 Heisman season on nothing but a summer. So they can expedite the learning curve of understanding the nuance of this offense. Speaking of, Kiffin, he brought his offensive coordinator, Charlie Weiss Jr., with him. And every offense those two have built have been very explosive. They added the top receiver group in the portal, and their best returning weapon is a 6'7" tight end in Trey'Dez Green, who's a matchup nightmare. Made him a second-team All-SEC player last year, and he didn't even really get the ball until the midway point of the season. As far as the defense is concerned, it was already kind of a strength. They kept their coordinator, Blake Baker. They loaded up on some edge rushers, headlined by Princewell Umanmielen, the #1 edge rusher in the transfer portal, whom Kiffin brought from Ole Miss. So it's a playoff or bust roster in year #1, and that's exactly the kind of pressure that Kiffin signed up for. And now for the schedule, because I think the schedule is flying out of the radar a little bit. I think it's a bear. They open with Clemson at home on September 5th. That's a rematch of a team they beat last year. Then on September 19th, the one that everybody in Louisiana and Mississippi has circled, that's at Ole Miss, with Kiffin walking back into the building that he left. After that, it's A&M, then Alabama, then Texas, then at Tennessee. Every single one of those games is a bit of a coin flip. But if Leavitt is healthy, LSU has the talent to win all those games. And then with a 9th conference game potentially grinding everybody down, health might be the whole season. So very optimistic about LSU, but it is a bit of a variable. A lot of new on this roster. But if they can come together, their ceiling is as high as just about anybody in college football.